Okay, gamers. Oh my god. Wow.
Hey, I did that too, bro. With the mark on the hitting art, bro.
He blocked me. Okay, gamers. We're gonna be talking about AI, and it's because last night I had a interaction that was just wow. So for those of you who don't know about me, I started my career in 3D art, and now I do a lot of tech art. I do like mostly programming and things like that. But so I've essentially evolved as an artist. I've changed my perspective as an artist. And this happened really early in my career. I would say like after college and as I got my first job, I started getting into more programming and things like that. And it was because I saw that automation was becoming very useful. When I graduated, AI was not popular. It was like there was no ChatGPT. It was like 2017, so it was on the horizon, but it was not popular. So we'll start with that. But at the time, my muse was the Fibonacci sequence. I became obsessed with Da Vinci and the Fibonacci sequence. And one thing that I set out to do was to map out the Fibonacci sequence in the human face, in the human body, and things like that. And in order to accomplish this, the only way to really do that is with things like facial recognition and things like that. And as I embarked on this journey, it became more and more clear that this requires AI. And at the time, I was naive. I did not know really how AI worked. And there was no real tutorials. I mean, there were tutorials, but it was you're not being screamed at every day on social media about how AI is how it works, you know. So that's how I've become who I am now, where a lot of my work revolves around AI. And so, in other words, this took like years of my own personal research, and finally I got the hang of things. Like, I started learning how to use Python, how to use JavaScript, how to make websites, and how to use AI, and how to make applications. That being said, I am not an AI researcher. I did research AI, but I'm not an AI researcher by any means. I don't really know how this stuff works under. In fact, I would say that probably 0.001% of people that claim that they work in the AI field actually know how this stuff works. And I've worked with a lot of AI researchers at this point, and they're all very intelligent. I don't want to dismiss any excellence from these people. They're all very talented and smart people. They're amazing people. Same goes for the artists out there. You know, I started out in art. I still do artwork, and there's no denying the mastery of some of these artists. It's just unbelievable what they come up with sometimes. All that being said, I still make art. I find that, you know, it's meditative, it is useful, it is important to keep making art because there's nothing really. I think that every human is making artwork at the end of the day. No matter what you're doing, you're kind of making art. You could be painting houses and you're making art. Like, your art is subjective, and that's, you know, there is good and bad art, but there's different ways to make art. Anyways, back to the drama. Oh my god. So I haven't been baited into something like this in a long time, but I just couldn't help myself this time. And I wish that I had screenshotted the original post, but I did screenshot a lot of the conversation because because oh my god. Wow. So the original post was just like a typical like
Hey, I did that too, bro. With the mark on the hitting art, bro.
blah blah blah. One thing that they made a note of in particular was Suno AI, which is just a music generator. He was saying like, oh well, they use this in other forms of music. Just typical AI bro shit. So one of the people commented, they said they're training on other people's copyrighted data. This is not how, like, if you're making music with other people's data, then that's unethical, which you cannot ignore that. And it's also just not creative. It's just, like, it's just not. You listen to AI music, it's just, shit is soulless. I've heard funny meme AI music, but there's no, like, come on, dude. Just shut up. Okay, I take that back. I've heard one or two good AI songs. Okay, one or two good ones. There's plenty of AI shit that's cool, but you get what I'm saying. So I added to the thread, I just mentioned that Meta pirated, not scraped. This is pirating, explicitly pirated 7.5 million books to use in their generative AI. This was used in Llama, by the way. And Suno AI is also in the midst of a lawsuit doing the same exact shit, just scraping people's copyrighted material, so same shit. But essentially what he's saying is, yeah, scraping illegal data is wrong, pirating millions of books is wrong, but training on it isn't. And this is like a really common theme in the AI Techbro community. I'm not talking about AI researcher community. These are not the same people. These are AI enthusiasts. I don't even know what to call it. These are just idiots that think that AI is like their savior. Again, I'm not saying that there's no creative AI person out there. There are people that are using AI that are making amazing stuff. But this is not one of those people. So again, to just summarize, he's saying that the scraping of this data is different from the training on this data, which it's not. Because obviously, in order to train on this data, in order to create anything with this training, you need the data first. You cannot train without data. So they cannot be decoupled. These are not different things, they are the same process. There's generative AI, which is the big process, and then you have sub processes, which is gathering the data and then training on it and then generating multimodal, like whatever you're generating. But you cannot decouple these things. These are all the same process. So you cannot train on nothing. You have to, and there is no generative AI tool available that doesn't, and that is useful, that does not train on copyrighted data. So in other words, he's referring to every single AI tool available, including Sona or Suno or whatever the fuck. So he's saying scraping this stuff is wrong, but training on it is fine. You guys have heard this shit a million times. He also said that I blamed the people using the tools, which I explicitly blamed Meta. I was not talking about, like, I never brought that up. He just started, I don't even know where he got that from. He said that I blamed the user, even though I didn't. So I'm not going to go through every sentence and, like, criticize every little part of I'm not here to talk about that. But one thing that I did mention is that he was a creative director. And I said that it's ironic that a creative director is scolding a founder of an AI company on how AI works. He's trying to tell me how this stuff works when I've been in the game. I'm not an AI researcher by any means, but, and like I've stated many times here, I'm not an AI researcher. Not an AI researcher. I'm going to say it a million times. I am not an AI researcher. I am not an AI researcher. But I've been I've been learning about this for a long time. Way before ChatGPT. And the reason I actually did this is because I noticed that he had started looking through my profile. I don't care who the fuck this guy is, but LinkedIn had notified me and told me that, this guy looked through my profile. So I'm like, so you know who I am, you know who you're talking to, you should probably do some research or something. Like, this is not going to go well. And I also knew it was gonna get under his skin. Like, I don't like using authority at all. I don't like I don't like people that appeal to authority. I don't even like honorifics. I don't even like calling people doctor or sir or anything like that. So this is not normal for me. It's not really even in my place to say stuff like this, but it is true that I founded an AI company pretty early on. I've been learning about this for quite a long time, and I see a lot of people that just don't know what they're talking about, that just latched onto the ChatGPT wave, and they are just prompting trash all day, and they are teachers, and they have a course on how to use generative AI tools, and they fucking show you how to use ChatGPT. So you can read his response if you'd like, but it's just the same regurgitated nonsense. He's like, well, Google is technically using the same method, just whatever. But at the end, he said that if you he said, P.S. This is my last attempt in a nice response. Keep being mean and condescending, and I will start replying accordingly. Keep in mind, I didn't say anything very mean. And I said some things were condescending for sure. I was saying that he is contradicting himself. I was a little bit mean for sure, but he said that I'm being condescending, but it's really condescending when somebody who just learned how to prompt is now teaching you how AI works. That I find to be very condescending. So, yeah. So again, I'm not trying to get into the drama, but you can read my response if you want. It was just pointing out what this is. So the response to this was baffling. This is where this is why I had to talk about this. This is the creme de la creme. Keep in mind, I never brought up users. I said explicitly that Meta and these AI companies are scraping people's copyrighted data. This is my whole purpose of discussing. That is what I said from the start. Okay. So this is his idea of being mean to me. He said, nah, you just want to complain and attack the user. I already explained to you everything. It doesn't matter what I say. You will stay angry because you will lose your job. Try adapting instead of complaining or stay behind. Wow. He said, go get educated on the topic, then come back. Tired of explaining same stuff over and over again. Stay mad, dude. I wasn't mad at all. I was trying to have a civil discussion. So, I just told him that I founded an AI company. I had just told him this. Where am I behind? What is this? What? I don't think he even read what I was saying. And it gets better. He said, congratulations, get a free course on machine learning on Stanford website. It will help because you definitely have no idea how ML works. So this creative director who prompts all day is telling me to go get a free learning course on how ML works. Nice. And so after this, he blocked me. I no longer can see the thread. So his idea of being mean was to spurg out and then block me. On LinkedIn, for that matter, trying to shit on people saying that you're gonna lose your job on LinkedIn is pretty wild. And something important to note here is that these media platforms will boost this content. They will make them popular. So this guy was getting hundreds and hundreds of likes for this, and he was getting a lot of engagement. So it's just important to note that these people are in an echo chamber oftentimes, and they think that they're correct. And you know, who knows? I could be wrong. Who knows? But yeah, it's just this infinite loop of engagement and people that agree with you, no matter how ridiculous. And so you know, a lot of this is a product of these media platforms that are. You guys have heard this shit a million times, so I'm not even gonna finish that sentence, but you get what I'm saying. I think that's a lot of the reason why he was so confident in saying this stuff. So yeah, I don't really do discussions like this very often. I kind of stopped posting anything about this shit. It's just getting out of hand. It's like counterproductive. But this is what it's like to be online. This is what people are actually like. It is disgraceful. It is embarrassing. I don't think they really have those emotions about it. They are really in your face about it, and they have no shame about trying to belittle you. You know, he's saying that I'm gonna lose my job, blah blah blah, like things like this. It's just, this has become the norm, and this one really stood out to me, so I had to say something about it. And I'm just generally talking more online, like instead of posting, talking, having discussions like this, just putting my face out there. So I don't know, maybe I'll do videos similar to this in the future, but yeah, check me out. You can find out more about me. You can go to my website. You can generate some 3D avatars if you want. I don't know, maybe you can even be mean to me. Who knows, maybe. Who knows, man. You can even block me if you want.
Click the link. Click the link. Click the links. Click my link. Click my link. Click the link.